Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, committed to conservation and careful management of the state's forests to make them more resilient and better habitats for wildlife. ChooseWood.com.
It's Saturday, February 11th. This is The Gateway. I'm Wayne Pratt. We have a special episode today from our sister podcast, St. Louis on the Air. It focuses on those in the music community who mix, record, and master the songs we've come to love. Usually, the lead singer gets most of the attention. St. Louis public radio producer Miya Norfleet reports on the local music competition Fresh Produce, where producers are given their time to shine.
One of the best neighborhoods in St. Louis for arts and entertainment is Grand Center. There you can see Broadway shows at the fabulous Fox Theater, the St. Louis Symphony's world-class concerts at Powell Hall, and stunning live bands at Jazz St. Louis. And on the first week of the new year, just a couple of blocks east, a large crowd of about 100 people gathered on the sidewalk outside Sophie's Artist Lounge. Thank you. Instead of hit Broadway songs or classical music, people are here for the Fresh Produce Championships. The event is the culmination of the 2022 season, and it's where producers face off and play their best beats for a live audience. Inside Sophie's Artist Lounge, the walls feature work by local artists. Patrons line up along the bar. Lights are turned down and the spotlight is centered towards the back of the room, where the battle is about to begin. Hip-hop, trap, lo-fi, and funk are about to fill the room. 8 music producers have made it to the Fresh Produce Championships, and one person's beats are going to come out on top. These producers use recordings of traditional instruments, samples from popular and niche artists over several decades, and technical equipment and software to create instrumentals. In the bracket-style competition, they're competing for $1,000. That money means a lot to independent musicians, especially producers that sell their original beats to vocalists, mostly rappers. Having the chance to maintain their artistic passion while working a 9-to-5 keeps their talent sharp and their aspirations to make a living off their music viable. To get to the championships, the 8 competitors had to win a previous Fresh Produce competition. These competitions happen monthly, in person and online, and they're organized by the MCs for the evening.
Yes. Fresh Produce St. Louis Champions Battle. January 6, 2023. My name's DJ Who.
My name is Matthew Sawicki.
Sean Bartle, who goes by DJ Who, and Matthew Sawicki serve as MCs and promoters of the event. Matt and Sean give the audience the evening's rundown. And after each matchup, 4 judges vote for their favorite. The tiebreaker is the audience. Fresh Produce relies on crowd participation, and that means that everyone in attendance is a judge.
If you've seen Fresh Produce before, make some noise.
Yeah, it's pretty good. 106 right there.
All right, if you've never seen Fresh Produce before, let me hear you. All right, welcome to the community. Hell yeah, all right.
While the crowd gets warmed up, the producers are backstage. A few of them are a little anxious. Some are chatting with friends and family that came to support them. Each of them have prepared beats that they hope will woo the judges and the crowd. That's Kerwin Dwayne's beats, and he participated in 4 Fresh Produce battles. He won his first last May. Originally from Wisconsin, Kerwin moved to St. Louis to pursue music because of Fresh Produce.
I felt at home, just a lot more going on around me, actual pulse in the city. It wasn't too hectic like in New York. Like I said, it still felt familiar, but a lot more culture, a lot more going on, and a lot more diverse.
Then there's Manny Williams, who goes by Manny B. Shy. He won a virtual Fresh Produce battle. Manny is originally from Chicago, and he flew in from his new home in Charlotte, North Carolina, just an hour before the competition began. He didn't have time to stop by his hotel room, and his overnight bag was still on his back the entire night. Manny has competed in virtual and in-person battles in other cities, but he says there's something special about the one that happens in St. Louis.
Well, this one, I mean, you really don't know what you're going to get at any competition, but this one is just a little bit different. You got the Midwest is a really, really different place when it comes to music. Like, you got so many different styles here. You got trap, you got regular hip hop, you got experimental shit people do. I mean, it's just a whole lot of music in one place. So it's a lot different on what type of ears you're going to get that's really going to respond to what you make. So that's one of the big challenges I'm looking forward to, trying to overcome that.
Prince the Prophet didn't have to travel as far as Manny. Prince Israel was born and raised in St. Louis and has started his own family here too. It took Prince 8 fresh produce battles to get to the championships. He won his first in December, and despite losing 7 competitions, he kept coming back.
To be honest with you, this competition makes me so much better, not only as a producer, but as a person and just as a creative overall. One of the big things about being a creative, especially in St. Louis, is you have to get out here and network. And being in this competition forces you to do that. You literally are face-to-face with 8 other talented creatives and producers, and then there's a whole room full of other people that's appreciating your music. I mean, who doesn't want to come out and see, the impact your music has on people in live, in a live aspect. That's the part of the reason why we make music, because the instant gratification, and when you're in the studio, it's really yourself that's you're giving yourself that. But when when you're in this event, you can when you play on music and you see people bobbing their head and getting into it, or just getting the love and admiration afterwards. One of these battles, somebody gave me a hug and literally told me they love me, and my music means a lot to them, and they're a fellow producer as well. So that in itself inspires me to keep going and inspires me to get better.
Also from St. Louis is Tim Moore, who goes by Madman. He started making beats for fun in high school, but stopped when he moved to Atlanta to study jazz. He takes the criticism from the biggest judge of the night, that's the audience, to heart.
Creatively, it's an opportunity to play new stuff. Well, hear it over some really loud speakers, a good sound system, and then also see people react to it in the moment. So I remember that there was a couple times I lost, and I was real salty about it, and I was like, oh, that beat was so creative, and looking back on it now, it's just it was creative, but it was kind of boring, it didn't have any pizzazz to it, or whatever case may be. So it really does make you just have to face the reality of what your music is, because again, it's you got a whole crowd of people, and you can't make a really amazingly energetic track and then no one reacts to it. It really kind of makes you face the music as far as that goes.
With Kerwin Dwayne, Manny B. Shy, Prince the Prophet, Madman, and 4 others, the battle is about to begin. The brackets were picked randomly, and before the round starts, the producers play rock, paper, scissors to decide who goes first. Typically, the winner lets their opponent go first, so they can pick the perfect beat to counter with. St. Louis natives Prince the Prophet and Madman face off in the first round.
All right, let's do this rock, paper, scissors. Get this matchup going. I'm really excited for this one. Whew.
Scissors beat paper. Game goes to Prince the Prophet, and he decides his opponent Madman will play his beat first. The audience bob their heads and get into the vibe of Madman's production. For the next minute, Madman is the center of attention. He keeps it cool and lets the music speak for itself. Next is Prince the Prophet. Prince gets a few enthusiastic cheers from the crowd as he jumps and dances around to his music. Several faces twist and scrunch up in silent approval. The judges will decide which one will move on to the next round for a chance at $1,000. The first judge to put in their vote is the audience.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, who's moving on to the second round? Is it going to be Madman on that side of the gallery? Or is it going to be Prince the Prophet on this side of the gallery?
114, that's a new high.
114.
Hell yeah.
All right, we're warming up.
15, 16 away.
The audience applauds both producers, but ultimately, Prince the Prophet won over the crowd and the judges and moved on to round 2. Prince the Prophet made it to the finals. He faced off against a competitor from Kansas City, Boomer Naughty. Boomer Naughty walked away with the win, but on this recent Friday night, Sophie's was filled with champions and optimism about the music scene in St. Louis.
That was producer Miya Norfleet reporting on last month's Fresh Produce Championship. This story was featured on a recent episode of St. Louis Public Radio's St. Louis on the Air. Miya also interviewed some of the key players behind Fresh Produce. Those conversations are posted on stlpr.org/fresh, and they are on the St. Louis on the Air podcast. St. Louis on the Air, by the way, airs weekdays at noon and 7 p.m. The Gateway is a production of St. Louis Public Radio, a listener-supported service of the University of Missouri-St. Louis. Theme music by Ryan McNeely of Adult Fur. I'm Wayne Pratt.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, committed to conservation and careful management of the state's forests to make them more resilient and better habitats for wildlife. ChooseWood.com.